Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Puck My Life podcast here on YouTube. I'd like to thank everybody who's joining us tonight, or if you're going to be joining us later, as this will be recorded and left here for your viewing pleasure. So I'd like to welcome my co-host, Mark. How we doing tonight, buddy?
Hey guys, not too bad.
All right, so today we're going to go over a few different topics for you just to kind of kick things off. And Mark's actually going to kind of talk a little bit of like how we met and how we kind of got started on wanting to do this podcast. So take it away, Mark.
Let's see here. I think you told me something before, but I believe more of what it was is we work together. Tyler has a store inside the mall that I work security at. And I think one day you were wearing a hockey shirt. Now you may argue me on this, but I believe you were wearing a hockey shirt one day. And we were talking about it then of Red Wings games. I'd never been to a Red Wings game at that time. Or it might have been a Spirit shirt.
Might have been Spirit. Because that one shirt I was wearing for a while that year.
Yeah, it could have been a Spirit shirt. Anyways, I think you might have been wearing a shirt, and we kind of just got on the conversation then. And then I think it might have led into pucks, honestly.
Yeah, I think we kind of went there. You were kind of giving me a little bit of your backstory, which we'll kind of get into in just a little bit. But yeah, you came in the one day, and we kind of started talking hockey. Realized that we had this connection, and we've known each other for what? This is going on 3 years now? 4?
Yeah,
it was pre-pandemic, but pandemic time. I mean, it messed everybody up. Like it feels like it was so pre-pandemic was so long ago. But yeah, so I know, and so we just kind of started talking hockey, and so what I did was for the Saginaw Spirit during Christmas time. If you don't already know this, if you're in the area and you want to go see them, they do around Christmas time. They do this packet that you can get from them. And what it is it's like a stocking stuffer thing. It's a really good deal. For $60, you get 6 ticket vouchers to the games, and you get $10 to use at their pro shop. They have like a separate pro shop that's there in the Saginaw area. And then they got the team store. They have 2 little team store kiosks throughout the arena there in Saginaw. And they gave you a $10 voucher that you could use, but you had to use all of this from when you got it in December around Christmas time. They mailed it to you, and then you had to use it by the end of the season, which I'm not 100% sure if it actually included playoff games. I don't think so. I think it was just regular season. So I spent the $60, just kind of got myself a birthday present, and then I had, they said you could use all 6 at one game. You could use, 1 at one game or 6 different games, or however you wanted to break it up. You just use the vouchers at your will. So I used one of the voucher or a couple of the vouchers and asked Mark after we were talking for a while about hockey. He's like, "Hey, want to go to a game and go check it out and stuff?" And he had already been to a lot before then, and so had I, and just went and hung out. And then it kind of to the moon from there. So that's where we're at today. So that pretty much sums it up as to how we got here, how we met, how we started going to hockey games. We've been to, I don't even know how many games we've been to now together since then.
I haven't. I haven't even
checked. I haven't checked because I know for a while there when Flint was in the playoffs, we went to, like 4 or 5 games during the playoff run. And it was at least was it 1 or 2 Wings games? Season. I think it was just one, right?
We went to one. Yeah, we went to one Wings game, and then the one Spirit game, I think.
Yeah, and then just a bunch of Flint games when they were in the playoffs. So
yep.
But shout out to the Flint Firebirds. They had a remarkable season. They fought really hard against Windsor and lost in Game 7 at home, and it was pretty crazy. So. Well, anyway,
good series.
Yeah, it was a really good series. It was a lot of highs and lows. The one game that we went to, I think was it the last home game? They actually lost that one because they could have closed it out. There were so many missed opportunities, but it is what it is. And so in other news, last night, the Stanley Cup playoffs ended. Me and Mark talked about this before, that we didn't really care who won. We just like watching hockey. None of our teams were in the finals. My wife's team was in the game, the Tampa Bay Lightning. But yeah, we didn't really care for the Avs or the Lightning too much. I just really wanted the Lightning to win last night, just because I wanted to see another hockey game.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that. I was hoping for a tie and then to see what happened in like overtime or something, just to keep it more interesting and extend the hockey season a little longer.
Yeah, it was a great playoff. So tons of game sevens, a lot of drama all throughout. I couldn't be happier with the way everything went. The only thing that could have made me happier is if Calgary would have won the whole thing. But right. I knew the way that those other teams were built, like, we're not going that far. Like, it was, I really wanted them to beat the Oilers, but win the Battle of Alberta, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy it? Was it,
I mean,
take me through that.
I'm the same with you. Like, how much can I enjoy it when each team? It was mainly just to watch it for hockey. I do know Colorado is a fast team. They've even said it a couple times throughout the playoffs that they're a fast team. I'm glad they won it. I feel like they deserved it. Just watching them go for it. They definitely had their heart in it compared to Tampa, especially last night in that game. It seemed like a lot of cheap shots from Tampa and frustration. They got real frustrated towards the end of that.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because once it seemed like the Avs went up by that one goal, it just seemed like they were just getting flustered about every little thing that was happening. And I know there was some people would say there's some sketchy calls made during the series on both ends.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do agree too that the Avs were just the better team. They were built better. They were younger. They were faster. Or at least most of their. I mean, they had some guys that had been there for a while, and guys were beat up on both ends. I keep getting all these reports. Like, one guy was today, I forget what his name was, but they said that he couldn't even put on his skate by himself. He had to have medical assistance to put his skate on. I mean, when's the last time you heard of that? And then guy had surgery on his thumb, and it was just it was on both ends. It wasn't like one team was immune to it. I mean, the end of the season, you've played like 80 to 100 games. At that point, you're going to have a few bumps and bruises along the way. But overall, good. I mean, are you happy with the outcome? I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
You didn't really care too much.
Right. Speaking of outcome, here, let me see if I can't bring this up on the screen.
While you're doing that, I don't know if you saw this, but we were watching this last night, and before the team had even left the ice from the celebration of hoisting the cup above their heads.
Yep, that's
okay. They had already brought that's when he dented it. Apparently, that was the fastest. Like, what did how they word it? It was like the fastest team to dent the cup when he fell.
Yeah,
there.
I've seen that.
And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, because like when they were going around home, it was like, was that dent there before? And then I kind of like went back and looked at the footage and like, no, it must have been when he fell, because it kind of happened really fast. But and then the other thing too that I was trying to get at was they had already released the odds of who was going to win next year, and the favorite was the Avs for next year, and I think they had the Maple Leafs at 2, and I think Tampa at 3. So the odds for next year's Stanley Cup champion were already out before they even left the ice. So I don't know if you're a betting man if you want to start putting money on it.
How do you think they fix something like that?
I think they look at a lot of different stuff. I think they look at a lot of like the contracts and stuff like that and see, okay, who's going to be staying, who's going to be going, how much of this core squad is going to be there. I think if the Avs were to get a few more guys, like a few younger guys in, and keep the main core group, I think that they have a good shot of repeating next year. I don't
Oh,
see anybody else who can match them.
I was talking about the cup since they dented it.
Oh yeah, they'll fix it. That guy with that long, flowy hair, he'll have it all ready for next year, all shined up. We'll have it all ready to go. So, really good playoff. Looking forward to next year. So next, we're going to jump into our hockey background. Kind of, give you guys a little more sense of where we're coming at with all this hockey stuff. And I'm going to let Mark go ahead and start off on what he has prepared for us.
All right. So mine, let's see here. I believe my mom said that she started bringing me to games when I was like 2 or 3. Granted, 2 or 3, how many games are you going to remember? I was born in 94. I think one of the main things that stuck with me that got me into hockey was March 26th, 1997, the Vernon and Roy fight. That it was just something about it that I seen two goalies going at it in the middle of the ice. It's like I thought this was a hockey game, but these guys are on opposite sides and they just have that much passion, I guess. I was gonna say anger, but I feel like it's more passion to just to do that. And then also, if you see it up at the top right, same day, this was before the goalie fight of Vernon and Waugh. Shanahan, like, I don't know what it was. It was some sort of like jump twist. It was just the plain speed of those two. I thought it was a hard hit, at least at a young age. I thought it was just one hard hit, and that's what got them off their feet. That made me a Shanahan fan at a young age. And then right the next year, we got Osgood and Waugh going at it again. That definitely helped me choose what was going to be my favorite team at that point. Definitely going to be the Wings. It's a local team to Michigan. It's Michigan's team. So that's what started it for me. And then going from there, we have the Saginaw Spirit close to us. Just constantly going to those games since I was 2 or 3.
Nice. Yeah. So for me, we're where I live. Where I lived when I was growing up is in a small farm community. There's really like no rinks around. The closest rinks were like over an hour away, and so I didn't really get a chance to play ice hockey growing up. We lived near a church, and the church had a big parking lot. So my brother and I would go out, and we would actually rollerblade, and play hockey and stuff like that. Never really was able, like I said, to play locally, which was kind of upsetting. Ended up having to do like soccer and baseball and stuff like that. But as I grew up, I still had there was some underlying passion for hockey, but I hadn't really gone to many games over the time from when I was like in middle school up to like high school and stuff. But like the first game I ever went to, I think I was like around 12, and we went to the Palace of Auburn Hills, and we got to see they were part of the IHL, which is the International Hockey League. They're now no longer a team, but some of those teams from the IHL went and joined other leagues. But we went and saw the there we go, the Detroit Vipers. And this is the first puck that I've ever bought. And got this back when I was like 12. I was really excited a couple years ago when I actually found this in the attic amongst some of my stuff when I was a kid. So it was kind of cool to still have that. It's a centerpiece to my puck collection. And so we're going to fast forward a little bit to just after college. I really didn't do anything with hockey during middle school, high school, or most of college. And then after college, a buddy of mine, Cody, and I went down to Joe Louis Arena and saw a game. And then later on, we're like, hey, why don't we do like a hockey road trip, kind of drive around and check some stuff out? So we did a trip out to Toronto and Ottawa. If you haven't already seen some of the game reviews that I've done for those, go back to the channel. You can find those where I go in depth on those. And then it kind of snowballed from there. and I started the page Puck My Life back in, I think it was February of 2019 or something. So just been traveling around, doing a bunch of stuff with that recently. So since I started since I started this journey going to hockey games back when I was a kid, I've seen 24 different home teams play at 22 different arenas. A couple of the teams share the same arena, and then there's a couple of arenas that are no longer around. So, but yeah, it's been a good journey so far, and I'm really looking forward to what the future has for us, and going to see some of these other teams in the future. So
I like that Vipers puck. That's a cool puck.
Yeah, it's a cool one. You don't see this one too often. I mean, you can, every once in a while you can pick them up on eBay. It's not a super expensive puck, maybe $15-$20, but it's priceless to me because it was the first puck I ever got. I'm excited to have found it and have it in my collection that you can see above my shoulder. So, all right, we're going to get into our 2021-2022 season recap. And did you want me to start this one, Mark, or did you want to dive into it for our recap of last year?
Let's have you go first. You can go first.
All right. So I'll go first on this one. So in 2021-2022 season, I attended 24 hockey games throughout the season. Now, some of you might say, wow, that's a ton. And some of you that are like super diehard fans and got season tickets and all that kind of stuff, you'd be like, wow, that's kind of weak, bro. Like, come on. So I was like, this is to be perfectly honest with you guys, I seen more hockey games this past season from October to June than I had in the all of my life previously. What
did that for you? What pushed you this year?
I think a lot of it was just COVID, like after the lockdowns and we just couldn't do much. It's like I was kind of going through the motions, doing a little bit of this and that. And it's like, you know what? Why not just go for it, man? So I did. And so some of the goals I set for last season were these. I wanted to try to see 10 new arenas. And then my goal too was to try to go to at least one game per month. And if you are math whizzes out there and have already done the math, which maybe some of you already have, that's 2.6 games per month on average. And I will say this, I was able to go to at least one game a month during that thing. There wasn't a single month between October and June that I didn't go to at least one hockey game. Now, a couple of the teams that you see here on the screen, we have the National Development Team, Team USA, and then we have the Red Wings, the Firebirds, and the Saginaw Spirit. These are all teams that I had seen previously before this season. So these weren't new experiences for me. The National Development Team, I just went to one of their games. Red Wings, I went to 5. Spirit, I went to 4. And Firebirds, I believe it was like 5 or 6 for going to those games. So, I mean, that was a big chunk of the 24. The Red Wings are our closest NHL team. Spirit are actually our closest OHL, but, like 15 minutes further, drive. And it's like, you have to Flint. It's like an hour to Saginaw. It's like an hour 15, hour 20, I think, for us to get down to Flint.
I think I'm right in the middle.
You're in a good spot. And then the National Development Team, they're down in Plymouth. They play at USA Hockey Arena. And Cody, actually, one of my other buddies, that he'll be on the show hopefully at some point. And he hadn't been there yet, so we went down and watched the game down there. But I was able to go and see 7 new teams. I unfortunately did not get my 10 mark. There was a few scheduling conflicts. There was a few trips that we tried to go on, but what happened was there was there was a family trip that we had planned during one of the trips that we wanted to do that was already planned like in December or something. And then there was we wanted to go out west, but then with some of the COVID crap going on, we didn't want to run the risk of not being able to get in and spending all that time and money going out there because the restrictions were a lot higher than over here. And then there was another trip that I think it was work related. I think Cody ended up getting a new job. That's what it was. Cody got a new job before we decided to finalize the trip, and so he couldn't get the time off to go do that. So, but the new teams that I was able to see, the first one I ended up going to see back in October was the Madison Capitals, followed by a 2-game road trip out to the west side of the state, seeing the Grand Rapids Griffins and the Kalamazoo Wings. And then later on, we went on, me and Cody went on a 3-game road trip where we got to see 2 games in Pittsburgh. Got to actually see the first time ever that the Seattle Kraken played in Pittsburgh. It was really cool because it was actually also, too, the first overtime win in Kraken franchise history.
That's
and
cool.
Then the very next night, the Wings were in town. And I will say this, Pittsburgh fans, they're the higher up in the arena you go, the worse they get. So this was
careful, you lose some viewers.
I'm just being honest, man. And I knew this was going to happen at some point. When you go to a lot of hockey games, it's going to happen eventually. But this was the first time ever I had beer spilt on me from a home team and I was cheering for the away team. And the jury's still out on whether it was intentional or not. The lady was kind of far gone, so we don't really know what happened. She doesn't know what happened. I mean, she probably doesn't remember it.
Add that to your goals. Add that to your goals, not to get beer spilt on you.
I mean, it was nice that we were staying at a hotel in downtown, so it wasn't very far, but still walking out of the arena smelling like beer, and it went down my back and on my coat and my jersey and my new hoodie, and it's just like, really, lady, come on.
Right.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. And then part of that road trip, on the way back from Pittsburgh, we swung into Toledo that night and watched the game, and got to watch the Toledo Walleye play the Wheeling Nailers. Unfortunately, they lost that game, but I will say this, Toledo was probably one of my favorite experiences over the course of this season. And then in January, my parents were down in Florida, hanging out down there for a little bit, flew down for a couple of days. They were staying in the Orlando area, saw a Solar Bears game. And then literally like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I think is what it was, when the Chicago Wolves were playing the Stockton Heat in the Western Conference Finals. My buddy Jose and I went over and saw them play. We literally left Tuesday morning from Michigan, drove like 8 hours to the game, watched the game, got up the next day, and then came back. So it was like 13 to 16 hours with the time change and all, whatever you want to say. And just to go watch a 3-hour hockey game. But we got to watch them win the Western Conference Finals. And shout out to the Chicago Wolves. They just won the Calder Cup the other night when they beat the Springfield Thunderbirds in Springfield, Massachusetts, and they are now champions. So it was really cool to be able to see them do that. And the Toledo Walleye did make it to the Kelly Cup, but unfortunately, they did not win. They, I think they lost the series like 4-1, and the Kelly Cup went to the Florida Everblades. So, but yeah, so that's for me, the kind of my recap of last season. What do you got on your last season there, buddy?
Not too much. Not as much as yours. But
I went crazy.
Hey, you're allowed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also allowed to.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Games attended. Obviously, we can see the 4 on there. 3 of those 4, though, are all new teams. I'd never seen a Flint Firebirds game before. And I believe it was you that was telling me that it was a good team to go and see. So probably, I would say within a week or 2 after that, I talked the wife into going down and watching a game with me.
Both of our wives actually went to that one. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. And then the second Spirits game with you. And then I think I might have went once with my wife this year. It was either this year or last year. Went to one of those games. And then again, you're a bad influence on me. Talked me into going down to Toledo for a Toledo Walleyes game. I'm with you there. They good team, good atmosphere with like the fans. They have a loyal fan base. I I can't say I've witnessed that anywhere else, except for kind of in the finals of the Flint Firebirds. They had a good turnout, good fan base, good chants going. Toledo's definitely a place to go if you want to experience a good hockey game and have people more to get people into hockey. I feel Toledo would be a good game to go to.
Yeah, and if you don't already know, the Toledo Walleye are part of the ECHL, which is the East Coast Hockey League, and they're actually the Red Wings affiliate for that league. So it goes Walleye in the ECHL, Griffins in the AHL, and then you have the Red Wings on top. But yeah, I will say this: it's going to be in the video, but when I do the experience for that arena, get your tickets early. They sell out quick for their games. Toledo, they love their team. I mean, they love their team. So if you're ever going to go, don't lollygag. Get your tickets like at least a week to 2 weeks in advance. Make sure you get good seats. When we got ours, like the day before, there was 7 seats left. So just we almost didn't go because we waited too late. So we ended up getting okay seats, so we were good.
Were you going to push it off more and then seeing the seats, or was that just luck that you seen it and you're like, oh, there's only 7 left?
Yeah, that was just literally pure luck. Like we had got back from, I think it was the Red Wings one in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably go in and look at tickets for tomorrow, make sure we get them. Like, holy crap, there's 7 seats left. Like, Cody, we got to get tickets like right now.
Yeah.
So I went and got them. So luckily we were able to, because that would have been kind of devastating if we did all that, planned to go, and then it's like, crap, there's no
worth it though. Worth it though in the end.
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
And then last I have on here is the Red Wings. I went to that game with you. My first ever Red Wings game. I'm a Red Wings fan, and listen to me saying my first Red Wings game was this year. They were against Pittsburgh. They lost to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a good team this year. Fans, on the other hand, in your experience, maybe it was just that section for you, but
yeah, game. I don't know. We treated the Red Wings fan. We treated the Penguins fans a lot better. We did trash talk your buddy Ethan at the game, but we didn't pour beer on him. So
right.
A lot nicer than the Penguins fans. Just gonna say, my experience. I went to 2 games. 1 game, I sat lower bowl, no beer. 2nd game, upper bowl, cheap seats, beer on me. Just saying.
All right, everybody knows that now.
Yep, everybody knows that. There's no disputing that.
Then I believe last season goals. I only had 1 goal last season. It wasn't really something I ever thought about with hockey until actually meeting you to set these goals, and it's a nice little added bonus to it to say, hey, I've gone to this many hockey games, or I've seen this many teams, or many new arenas. That's cool, and it's definitely something you got me into this year. But really, my only goal I had set for was for the Flint Firebirds to go to at least 1 game, 1 home game for their playoffs, and we were able to do that. Me and you went to every one too.
We went and saw each round, and it was kind of crazy. Like I'll talk more about it later, but I and probably when I do with a game experience later on, but I had a few other sub goals that they were kind of more of my bucket list type stuff, which we're actually going to be over the course of this podcast season, whatever you want to call it. We're actually going to be formulating and creating the ultimate hockey bucket list, and we're going to try to make that into a file or something, like some kind of spreadsheet or something, some way that you can download it and you can check off stuff. App. I don't know what we're going to end up making, but we're still formulating. If you have any submissions for that, drop them below in the comments, DM us on Instagram or whatever. Just, try to get it to us as you can. I think, okay. For a second there, I lost my,
your mouse. I seen it.
I lost my mouse. I was like, where'd it go? Cause I have the other screen in the background. I was like, did it wander over there?
No, you're mainly focusing on ECHL. That's why it was hovering over there. So
yeah, it was hovering over there. So so after talking about our season recap, we're actually going to talk a little bit about what we're looking at doing for next season. And so we talked about the other day. It's like, okay, let's put together some goals for what we'd like to do next season, all things considered. And this is what I was able to come up with. I know there on the bottom, our little banner thing is kind of blocking the other one. But so for next season, I would really like to try to hit 15 new arenas. I'll explain how I'm going to try to do that here in a minute. I want to try to, even though I was averaging 2.6 games per month last season, I want to try to do a 2 game per month minimum, which I think there was 1 or 2 months. I think I only went to 1 game. So I want to try to, raise the bar a little bit on that. Yeah, I was trying to raise the bar, It's like they did in, was it South Park, that episode? One of my favorite South Parks with, was it James Cameron and Randy Newman? I don't know if he's watched South Park, but where they dive down to raise the bar up. You have to go YouTube it. If Jose, if you're watching, he's put that link in the comments for him so you can go watch that. Next, I would like to really be able to see 2 new NHL teams. Try to go to 3 new leagues. Try to visit 2 new states to see teams in. And I'll just hide that for a second. But try to attend 30 different games next season, which, a lot of these goals, like I did 9 new arenas. I did 15 or 9. How many did I do? 7. So, if a few other things would have happened, I would have been really close. So I think I've raised the bar enough to where it's not out of reach. It's definitely obtainable. So
wait, go back to the other one. Can you go back to the other one?
Yeah, I'll go back to the other one. Yeah, what do you got?
All right. So what states haven't you been to that's like close around? Like, how easy is that 2 new state goal?
Yeah. So for me, I was looking at Minnesota being one. I've seen games. I'll just read these off for you. I'm looking at my map right here. So I've seen hockey games in Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, and Arizona. So I would think New York, and also Pennsylvania, New York, Indiana, and Minnesota is kind of what I was possibly thinking for those, because there's a few teams that I already have loaded up that I'd like to see for in those states for next year. So I'll go over some of that. So this is my list I kind of made up of the must-see teams for next year. These are all teams, a good chunk of these teams, like the Michigan State Spartans, the Michigan Wolverines, Ferris State Bulldogs, Western Michigan University Broncos, the Port Huron Prowlers, which for some reason, I don't know how we didn't know about this team. Right. They're part of the FPHL, which is the Federal Prospects League, and they weren't that too far away, like a 2-hour drive from where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
And then Fort Wayne Comets, my uncle lives there, which I actually visited a couple times last year, but they weren't playing games at the time. So I'm hoping to try to go down there, visit him. And I also have another friend that lives in Fort Wayne that I could go, and at least one of them could go to a game with me. Bowling Green, just south of the border, just outside of Toledo. A new team coming in next year, the Motor City Rockers, which are going to be in the FPHL, with the Prowlers, which I think there's only like 10 or 12, or like 8 to 12 teams in that league. It's a very small league right now. And then the other team was the Indy Fuel, because I figured if I was going to pair up a trip to Fort Wayne, it's only like an hour and a half down to Indy. Maybe I could make it a weekend. But I feel like next year, if I can see these 9 teams next year, I mean, that'll put me on pace. And a lot of these teams, or at least a couple of them, I can go and see in one day. Drive down to the game. It'd be a late night, obviously, but I can go and do it in one day. So moving on here, these are potential teams for next year. These are all closer teams within the neighboring states. And you have Notre Dame just south of the border, Wisconsin. We tried to actually go to a Wisconsin game last year, but they were out of town that weekend. So we ended up going to see the Madison Capitals. My wife has some friends that live out in Madison, and we're planning on going out to visit them this coming year again. And there's a few teams in between here and there. I'm hoping we can do at least 2 teams on that road trip. One of them being just below that logo, the Janesville Jets. They're just into Wisconsin, south of Madison. Excuse me. And then Ohio State University. I mean, I don't like them as a team, especially in football, but they're close enough. They're a big school. I'd like to go down there maybe sometime when Michigan is playing them on the road. Youngstown Phantoms, again, they're in Ohio. Rockford Ice Hogs, they're on the way out to Wisconsin too. Chicago Steel, you got the Blackhawks. If you just do a trip out to the Chicago area, University of Miami, we've talked about different road trips that we could take, and a lot of these teams are on the way to there. Like if you were to go out and see the Sabres for us, you could see the Cleveland Monsters or the Erie Otters or something like that. So those are things that we kind of pair up with those trips. And lastly, a wish list for next year. The 2 OHL teams you see on there, the Windsor Spitfires and the London Knights, hopefully with the whole restrictions of people coming and going with the border. I'm hoping the border opens up to where it was pretty much pre-COVID, so I can quickly run over there, see a bunch of games, and run back before they shut it up again. So hoping to do those. Those are the 2 closest teams. Actually, I talked about this in another video that the Windsor Spitfires, my buddy Dave and I actually had tickets to go see them the day that the season was canceled. And it was really unfortunate. We were literally in the car ready to back up, and I got the notification, an email from the Spitfires saying that they had canceled the season. So that really
would have been a good game.
It would have, and they were playing Saginaw. They were playing Saginaw. We had a good team there. This is when Cole Perfetti and all those guys were rocking it and stuff, and it's just it was very disappointing. And then something cool, run out and see the Kraken. There's a few other teams out there. Swamp Rabbits, if we go down and see Savannah Ghost Pirates. I really like the Ghost Pirates logo. I know him and I both talked about this. I'm really excited that they're coming into the league. They're the right next to them there you have the Golden Knights, and they're the ECHL affiliate for them. We tried to go to a game last year out in Vegas. That didn't work with me and Cody. And you're probably wondering, why is the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Devils on there? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think it would be really cool to do like a 3-day trip. And Cody and I actually did the research on this last year. I think there was 2 times last season, and it might have been like a month and a half into the season. So it wasn't the full season we were looking at, but the rest of it we were looking at. And there was at least 2 times that we saw that you could go for 3 days straight and watch all 3 of those teams. So that when we were looking at it, you would fly into LaGuardia early in the afternoon, then take public transit over to Madison Square Gardens. Okay. And then the next day, take public transit out to see the Islanders on Saturday. And then on Sunday, there was a game in New Jersey at 1:00, and you could have saw that game and then still take public transit back to LaGuardia and fly out that evening. So that would have been a crazy trip. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but that would have been awesome, dude. That's why I had it there on my list. But yeah, so that's kind of my wish list for next year. I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I had no idea I was going to go see the Wolves or the Solar Bears or anything like that. So that's the exciting part to me, is you just don't know where you're going to end up. So where would you like to end up for next year? What are your goals?
I mean, I have the 2 biggest ones, the 2 that I really want to go to, and I mean we've been talking about it. just to fly out there. It's just finding schedules that match up and things of that sort. But it definitely, they have good logos, good teams. I think it. Well, actually, we don't even know about Savannah yet, but we'll find out. I think even just the pucks. I mean, we collect pucks. Those pucks would be pretty cool just to have on the wall.
Oh, for sure. I mean, who doesn't want a puck with a rabbit that made his stick out of his carrot?
Right.
Like, who doesn't want that? Or a ghost,
right?
Pirate guy. I don't know. I think they killed it with that logo. To be both of those logos, I like them.
Yeah, they're good. Like the new age logos. I like the boldness of them. And then we got the ones on the side, Grand Rapids Griffins. You've already been there. The new team, Motor City Rockers. It's close to us. It should be an easy team for us to go and see and check that.
Oh, for sure.
And check that off the list. Port Huron Prowlers. How did we not know? It brought light to me when when Motor City Rockers popped up. I think it was on my Facebook. Popped up, and then I started looking at the FPHL, and I was like, "Oh, we got Port Huron right here."
That was actually, for me, that was kind of like upsetting. Like, how did we not know this?
Right.
Like, but we are happy that we found it, and it just added more hockey.
Right. And a new arena.
Yep.
Michigan. It'd be cool to see a Michigan game. They made it to the playoffs this last season, so it'd be cool to see the team that at least made it that far. Muskegon Lumberjacks. I like their logo too. They got a cool logo. And then I think it was you commenting on, he doesn't even have a face. It's more of like a Bigfoot or something. It's all hair. Well, lost your sound there.
Yeah, his whole face is just like hair.
Yeah. I'm more of a state fan though. I definitely want to go to a state hockey game. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know this?
I don't know.
How did you hide it?
Because I mean, at least football wise, I'm more of a state fan. I think that was more of how I grew up. I know. Just remove me from the stream now.
Yep, I'll hit that button, and I think there's a block button down there.
Get them out of here. Unsubscribe.
One thing I do want to comment on, I didn't know that you were adding this to your list, which I didn't. When I did my goal list, I wasn't looking at. I was kind of doing it more of like going to the different experiences. But I see down here, you have catch a puck, get a warm up puck, and a game day puck.
Yeah.
And why don't you explain to him why you had to put game day puck on that list? I know the other ones because they're to catch a puck. I've done that once, and then I've gotten a warm up puck. It unfortunately didn't have anything on it. It was just a regular puck that you could have got at Dunham's or something. But explain the story behind why you had to put game day puck on there for this season.
Yeah, why I had to. When we went down to the Red Wings game, how early were we there? I think we were half an hour.
Not early enough.
Yeah, not early enough.
Apparently, we weren't there early enough because we didn't get them.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It was for their. I think it was their last home game. Their fan appreciation
Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, their fan appreciation day. What time was that game? Noon? It was like.
Was it?
It was like noon or 1 o'clock. It was 1.
It was 1.
Then I think we were thinking that the doors would open an hour early, but for fan appreciation, the doors, I'm assuming, opened at 10 when the fan appreciation started, and they had a full house for their appreciation. They had like jump houses for the kids, face painting. They had a bunch of stuff going out in like their concourse outside on the cement there, and I think all those people went in there and got those game day pucks. I don't know. Do you know how many they have for a game day puck? Like 100, 500?
I really don't know. All I've been told is that, and I think I talked about this in one of when I did the video for the Red Wings, but when I went there, they only have them at the main team store, which I think is by the southwest entrance. So where the main courtyard is, in between the parking garage and the arena, you want to go to that southwest entrance and go in there. I think it's the Meyer entrance, and you go in there. It's the big team store where they sell like gear, like game used gear, game used pucks, helmets, gloves, jerseys.
Yeah, they had some
it's
cool
like
stuff in there for game use. That
oh
was
yeah,
cool.
it's like you got to bring the big checkbook if you're going to go in that section. But anyway, so yeah, they have, and the thing is, they don't put them out with the other pucks. You have to actually go to the register to get them. And we got there, we're kind of like walking fast, trying to get in there, and they had already sold out. And that's the only place in the arena you can get them. And when we went to, now I don't know if this is legit or not, but when Cody and I went to the game when the Kraken were playing in Pittsburgh, they actually, and they had the game day puck for that one. They actually had them in a couple other little kiosks, but they didn't have very many. Like when we got there was a bunch of them like piled up onto one table. And when we got done with that game, I was looking to see if anybody was selling their puck on eBay, and they were. And this person was claiming that there was only 100 of those pucks available. Now, if you know anything about that, if you have any insight onto whether that's true or not, drop a comment, whatever, let us know. But the only thing that I seen is what this guy was saying is that there was only 100 pucks.
And that was in Pittsburgh,
and
right?
That was in Pittsburgh for the Kraken. First time they had ever played in Pittsburgh, and there was the first overtime win in franchise history. That puck sold on eBay on bids for over $300. The guy got for it, and I was kicking myself because I thought about buying two. Because that would have definitely paid for that whole trip if I would have just sold that one puck. And that guy did buy two, because then he listed the other one like a week later and sold the other one for over $300 as well. So I'm so glad I got mine. I know Cody's kicking himself because I bought the game day puck, and then I also bought one of the official game pucks in the case. You'll see those when I do that video coming up here soon. But I know he was kicking himself that he didn't get one, because he had definitely opportunity to get it. And I know, like, I kind of told myself, I was like, am I going to start getting the game day pucks? I kind of want to, I kind of don't, but it's an extra $10 every time you go. And if you've already seen the team, it's like, why? But it's like, it's just kind of a cool memento just to, remember that experience. And it'd be kind of cool just to have like a separate like thing that I have here of just game day puck. So, and that was the only one, because we missed out that one. That was the only game day puck that I was not able to get. And it would have been really cool to get that one for me, especially because I would have had one from when the Red Wings were on the road and playing Pittsburgh. And then when Pittsburgh was in Detroit, I would have had like a pair. So, but yeah, we learned our lesson. So basically, moral of the story is what Mark is saying, that when it's a fan appreciation day, camp out in your tent the night before to make sure you can get your puck, and bring a space heater because it does get cold.
Yep. And then another NHL team that I really like is the Minnesota Wild. I think they were, I don't know the exact date, but this last season, they were in Detroit, and what kind of got me onto their team was just another big brawl in Detroit. It was on one of my social medias. I seen a video of it after. Got me looking into the team. I was like, I think if they have enough passion and heart into it to get that worked up over something, they're a good team. So I looked more into it. They had a rookie on their team. And kind of just went from there.
Yeah, they're a good club, and I think they have one of the coolest logos in, I think, professional sports. I mean, the way that they designed that, it's just a beautiful logo.
That's the rookie I was thinking of, Kaprizov.
I heard him.
Sad that I didn't remember that I have one of his jerseys, and I forgot. I have a little hiccup.
Don't you have that one like hanging up somewhere in your house too?
Yep. We'll show off our collections in a future episode.
Yeah, we'll be going over that stuff.
I'll try not to take up all the time.
Yeah, that would be like a a 5-part mini series. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like and with our puck collecting, the way that you approach it, the way that I approach it, the way that some of the people that follow me approach it, the cool thing is with that, everybody looks at it differently.
Yeah.
So which makes it kind of cool, but yet we're all collecting the same thing, which I think is cool. So getting ready to wrap things up here in just a little bit, but so for coming up for next week, we're gonna do 5 different teams that we would like to see and 3 different jerseys that we would like to see of the FPHL, which is the Federal Prospect Hockey League, and the ECHL, which is the East Coast Hockey League. So we're going to go through, that'll be one of the things that we do next week. I don't think that'll take all the time, so we'll find a few more things to go over. But yeah, we're just going to discuss a few of the teams that we would like to see. These would be also teams that we have not seen, and I can speak for both of us on this one that we both have not seen a Federal Prospect game yet. But I have seen 3 ECHL teams, which consists of the Kalamazoo Wings, the Toledo Walleye, and the Orlando Solar Bears.
Yeah, mine's just Toledo. That's the only one I got on there. So
hopefully next year we'll knock out a few more of those teams. If you guys have any questions or comments throughout this, we are able to monitor the comments right from YouTube on this stream. And even after this stream is over, if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, and if you guys have any topics that you guys would like us to discuss, or if you would even like to be a guest on the show, we're looking at even doing some guessing game type stuff in the future. Get a few people on, win some prizes and stuff like that. We have a lot of cool ideas for what we would like to do. So we really would like to try to, take this as far as it's going to be good. Yeah, and for we want to try to do this to kind of get us over the lull of not having any hockey, because to be perfectly honest, like, I don't know how you feel about it, but even after last night, like, it kind of felt like hockey was over, and it kind of is over. And it's like I was just sitting there, or actually laying in bed last night, I'm like, October is so far away.
Right.
It's like I hope that it goes by quick, and I'm sure a lot of you guys listening are hoping for the same thing, that it goes by quick, and that we can all get out there and see a bunch of hockey next year and whatnot. So do you have any closing thoughts or anything like that to Mark before we wrap things up here?
Nah, you wrapped everything up. We have some big stuff planned. I would say within the next probably 2 to 3 streams, I'll have a video so everybody can see my wonderful face.
Yeah, that will go leading into that. So our next podcast, we will probably be recorded. The next one will be pre-recorded. It will not be a live podcast. We will be trying to drop these. We're going to try to shoot, I think we talked about last night, like bi-weekly. Is that what we were kind of leaning more toward?
Well, just so that we don't overdo it. But I mean, if we get enough interest in it, we could probably push weekly. But we also have the 4th coming up, so that's kind of why we were saying bi-weekly.
Yeah. At least probably until we get past the holiday weekend, and also to like I said, the next one's going to be pre-recorded. Unfortunately, just due to scheduling conflicts. So we want to get that one ready, and that one will drop. Did we say that when we would actually drop that one would be
the 11th?
The 11th. So
of July.
Yep, the 11th of July. So I'm actually going to be in Orlando, Florida, the first full week of July, at least part of that week, and then he's got some stuff going on. I got some other stuff going on too. So. But we're going to pre-record that, our next show, and that'll be the one that we just discussed, the next topic. So look out for that one. Like I said, guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, or anything, drop them below, or you can DM us over on at Puck My Life on Instagram. The little ticker on the bottom of the screen has our handles on there, and then you can also go to the link in the description. If you haven't already, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. A lot of people say smash the like button, but I want you to smash that subscribe button. And like if you liked, comment if you have something to say. And yeah, I think that's about it. To be perfectly honest, I was like pretty much waiting like all day for this to happen. Like once we started talking about this, and we
it's nice to talk about hockey without having any hockey to go to.
I know, and we're gonna be sharing a lot of cool stuff coming up too with our experiences and whatnot. And I'm also going to be trying to drop my regular experience videos. I'm breaking up into seasons. So season 2 for the game experience will be coming up. I'm working on some back end stuff to try to kind of raise the bar for that production value a little bit. And got a new camera and stuff like that I'm going to be working with. So stay tuned for that. There's a few teams that I haven't been able to do that I didn't get in last season's list. But I'm going to incorporate those into this upcoming season with the 7 new teams. I'm trying to basically do where I do at least 10 teams a season, depending on how many I end up going to. I mean, unfortunately, last year I didn't get to hit the 10, but I already had a few that I had gone to that didn't make the cut yet. So those will be all coming up, and you'll get to see the pucks and hear about more with the Pittsburgh experience and this and that and everything. So but yeah, so appreciate everybody who dropped in today. I saw people coming in and out, a few people commenting. So we appreciate all that. Be sure to follow and everything and do all that fun stuff, I guess. And that'll do it. So I appreciate all you guys. And
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, until next time, you guys have a wonderful evening.